Put them in the same room, and one of them will destroy the other. Not in a day, not in a week, but across years. Quietly, methodically, invisibly, one of these two personalities will dismantle the other so completely that by the end, the loser will not even understand what happened to them. They look similar from the outside. Both are charming. Both are ambitious. Both are willing to use other people. Both leave a trail of damaged lives behind them. But underneath, they are opposites. And when they collide, the outcome is almost always the same. The narcissist has the ego. The Machiavellian has the strategy. And in the long game, strategy annihilates ego every single time. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why. You will understand the fatal flaw hidden inside the narcissist that the Machiavellian exploits without mercy. And you will understand which of these two personalities is truly the most dangerous, because the answer is not the one most people expect. Let me show you the war that plays out in silence whenever these two minds meet. First, you have to understand what each of them actually wants, because their desires look identical on the surface and could not be more different underneath. The narcissist wants to feel powerful. The Machiavellian wants to be powerful. This distinction seems small. It is the entire war. The narcissist is driven by an insatiable hunger for admiration, validation, and the emotional experience of superiority. They need to be seen as the best, the smartest, the most important person in the room. The feeling of dominance is the drug, and they will chase that feeling constantly, publicly, and often recklessly. The Machiavellian does not care about the feeling. They care about the result. They do not need to be admired. They do not need to be seen as superior. They do not need the room to know they are winning. In fact, they prefer that the room does not know. They want the actual outcome, the money, the position, the control, and they are perfectly willing to let someone else take the credit, the spotlight, and the applause, as long as they walk away with what actually matters. Do you see the vulnerability this creates in the narcissist? And the advantage it hands to the Machiavellian? The narcissist needs something the Machiavellian can give them for free: admiration, flattery, the appearance of deference. And the Machiavellian needs nothing from the narcissist at all, except their downfall. Let me show you how the war actually unfolds, step by step, because it follows a pattern so consistent that once you see it, you will recognize it everywhere. Stage 1. The Machiavellian identifies the narcissist's hunger. Within minutes of meeting a narcissist, the Machiavellian has diagnosed them. They see the constant need for validation, the fragile ego beneath the grand exterior, the way the narcissist lights up at flattery and darkens at any hint of challenge. To the Machiavellian, this is not a person, it is a control panel, and every button is clearly labeled. The narcissist's need for admiration is a lever. Their fragility is a weakness. Their predictability is a map. The Machiavellian reads all of it instantly and files it away for use. Have you ever watched a calm, strategic person deal with a loud, arrogant one and noticed that the calm person never seemed threatened, only patient? That patience is not passivity. It is a hunter who has already seen exactly where the prey is weak. Stage 2. The Machiavellian feeds the hunger. This is where most people expect the Machiavellian to attack. They do the opposite. They flatter, they defer, they praise. They let the narcissist believe they are the dominant one. They position themselves as an admirer, a loyal ally, a supporter, someone who exists to help the narcissist shine. The narcissist, drunk on the validation, lowers their guard completely. Because in the narcissist's worldview, someone who admires them is safe. Someone who serves their ego is an asset. Why would they ever suspect the person who makes them feel so magnificent? This is the fatal error. The narcissist mistakes flattery for loyalty, and in doing so, they invite the most dangerous person in the room directly into their inner circle. The Machiavellian is now inside the walls, trusted, underestimated, and gathering everything they need. Stage 3. The Machiavellian collects. While the narcissist performs, the Machiavellian observes. While the narcissist talks, the Machiavellian listens. While the narcissist demands the spotlight, the Machiavellian works in the shadows the spotlight creates. They learn the narcissist's secrets, their insecurities, their enemies, their financial situation, their professional vulnerabilities, the specific lies the narcissist has told, and the specific people who could expose them. The narcissist, needing constant validation, cannot stop talking about themselves. And every disclosure is a gift to the person quietly cataloging it all. Information is currency, and the narcissist hands over their entire fortune, one boast at a time, to the one person who knows exactly what to do with it. Stage 4. The Machiavellian positions. Now, if you have made it this far, you already understand more about how these two personalities collide than most people ever will. But the most important stage is coming right now, because everything so far has been preparation. This is where the trap is set. The Machiavellian does not confront the narcissist, ever. Confrontation would trigger the narcissist's rage, mobilize their defenses, and reveal the Machiavellian's intentions. That is the amateur's move. Instead, the Machiavellian arranges the pieces so that the narcissist destroys themselves. They subtly encourage the narcissist's worst tendencies. They nod along as the narcissist makes reckless decisions. They quietly amplify the narcissist's conflicts with others, never visibly, always deniably. They position themselves as the reasonable one, the stable one, the trustworthy one, precisely as the narcissist grows more erratic and more exposed. And they wait. Because the narcissist, left to their own nature, always overreaches, always makes enemies, always lets their ego write checks their competence cannot cash. It is only a matter of time. The Machiavellian does not need to push the narcissist off the cliff. They only need to make sure that when the narcissist walks toward the edge, which they inevitably will, no one is standing there to pull them back. Stage 5. The collapse. When the fall comes, it comes suddenly. The narcissist's enemies converge. Their reckless decisions catch up with them. The secrets they disclosed resurface at the worst possible moment. The allies they thought they had evaporate. And the narcissist looks around bewildered for the one person they trusted most. The Machiavellian, who is nowhere to be found. Or worse, who is now standing calmly among the narcissist's enemies, having quietly repositioned themselves weeks ago, and who expresses nothing but measured disappointment at how far the narcissist had fallen. The narcissist never sees it coming. They cannot, because their worldview does not permit the possibility that the person who admired them so completely was never an admirer at all, but a strategist, playing a game the narcissist was too self-absorbed to even notice was being played. So let me answer the question directly. In the long game, the Machiavellian almost always defeats the narcissist. And now you understand the 4 reasons why. First, patience. The narcissist needs their reward now. The immediate hit of admiration, the instant win, the public victory. The Machiavellian can wait years, and whoever can wait wins. Second, invisibility. The narcissist announces themselves constantly, giving away their intentions, their weaknesses, and their moves. The Machiavellian reveals nothing, operating beneath the surface where the narcissist cannot even see the battle happening. Third, emotional control. The narcissist is a slave to their emotions, their rage, their vanity, their need for validation. Every one of these emotions is a lever. The Machiavellian, emotionally detached, has no such levers. They cannot be provoked, flattered, or baited into the mistakes the narcissist makes constantly. Fourth, accurate self-perception. This is the deepest one. The narcissist believes their own myth. They actually think they are as brilliant, as dominant, as untouchable as they pretend to be. The Machiavellian harbors no such illusion. They see themselves clearly, they see others clearly, and they see the board clearly. And a clear-eyed strategist will always defeat a self-deluded egomaniac. The narcissist is playing a role. The Machiavellian is playing a game, and the role always loses to the game. But now I need to complicate the picture, because there is a version of this story where the answer flips. The narcissist has one advantage the Machiavellian lacks, and in certain arenas, it is decisive. The narcissist's hunger for admiration drives them to seek the spotlight relentlessly, and sometimes that spotlight is exactly where power lives. In politics, in entertainment, in any field where mass appeal, charisma, and public visibility are the currency of power, the narcissist's shameless self-promotion can catapult them to heights the quiet Machiavellian would never reach. The Machiavellian prefers the shadows, but some thrones can only be claimed in the light. And there is a second complication. The Machiavellian's caution can become a cage. Their endless calculation, their refusal to move without total advantage, their aversion to visible risk, sometimes this makes them too slow, too hesitant. While they are still gathering information and waiting for the perfect moment, the reckless narcissist has already seized the opportunity through sheer audacity. Fortune, as Machiavelli himself wrote, sometimes favors the bold, and the narcissist is nothing if not bold. So the honest answer is this. In a long, private war of attrition, an office, a family, a slow institutional climb, the Machiavellian almost always wins. But in a fast public arena where visibility is power and boldness is rewarded, the narcissist can sometimes seize what the Machiavellian is too cautious to grab. The strategist wins the long, quiet game. The egomaniac sometimes wins the loud, fast one. Have you ever seen a brilliant, careful person get beaten out by a loud, shameless one who simply wanted it more visibly? Now you know why. The arena decides the winner as much as the personality does. Now let me tell you the most important part, because I know some of you are watching this trying to decide which one to become. That is the wrong question. You do not want to be the narcissist, ruled by an ego so hungry it makes you predictable, exploitable, and ultimately self-destructive. The narcissist's power is a house built on sand. It looks impressive until the first real storm, and then it collapses completely because there was never any foundation beneath the performance. But you do not want to be the pure Machiavellian either, because the Machiavellian, for all their strategic brilliance, pays a hidden price. A life spent seeing every human being as a piece to be moved is a life spent utterly alone. They win the game, and they lose the only thing that ever made the game worth playing, the ability to be genuinely known, genuinely connected, genuinely loved by another human being who sees them as they are. The Machiavellian dies having controlled everything and touched nothing. So what do you take from this? You take the strategist's tools, and you refuse the strategist's emptiness. Learn the patience. Learn the emotional control. Learn to see the board clearly, to gather information, to resist provocation, to think 5 moves ahead. These are not evil skills. They are simply the skills of a person who has stopped being naive about how power actually works. But keep the one thing both the narcissist and the Machiavellian lack: a genuine inner life, real relationships, and a set of values that the game cannot corrupt. Because the person who has the Machiavellian's strategic mind, without the Machiavellian's hollow heart, is more powerful than either of them. They cannot be manipulated by the narcissist's flattery because they have no ego hunger to exploit. They cannot be out-strategized by the Machiavellian because they see the game just as clearly. And they possess something neither of them will ever have: the strength that comes from being genuinely whole. That person does not just win the long game. That person wins the game and then goes home to a life worth living. So let me leave you with this. The narcissist and the Machiavellian are both playing to win, but they have forgotten the most important question of all. Win what? The narcissist wins applause and dies empty. The Machiavellian wins control and dies alone. Both spend their entire lives accumulating a kind of power that turns to ash the moment they try to hold anything real with it. You have watched, in this video, the two most dangerous personalities on Earth wage war against each other. And you have seen that the strategist beats the egomaniac in almost every arena that matters. But the deepest lesson is not about which of them wins. It is that you do not have to become either one to take everything useful they have to teach, and leave behind the poison that makes them who they are. Be strategic, but do not be hollow. Be patient, but do not be cold. See the board clearly, but never forget that the people on it are real. That is how you win the long game. And unlike them, that is how you win a life worth having won. If this video showed you something you had never seen before, hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach the people who need this message most. Subscribe if you want more content that pulls back the curtain on power, strategy, and the darkest corners of human psychology. And in the comments below, I want to know, in your own life, have you watched a Machiavellian quietly defeat a narcissist, or a narcissist steamroll everyone through sheer audacity? Which one did you witness? Your story could be exactly what someone else needed to read. In my next video, I'm going to reveal the exact verbal patterns that Machiavellian operators use to control conversations in real time. The specific phrases, the strategic questions, and the calculated silences that let them steer any dialogue toward the outcome they wanted from the very beginning. You do not want to miss it. Until then, stay awake, stay aware. And remember, the loudest player and the cleverest player are both still playing a game. The wisest player knows when to stop playing and start living.